Hey everyone, this is Rom. Some of you may know me from one of the Discord groups or from having played with me in the past. For those that don't, I am part of VIG and I've been playing with VIG for the past 4 or 5 months now. I moved here from a C3 server and I've been with them, for about 5 months, let's say. So we've seen quite a few reports being shared on our Discord now with Chalons or Austerlitz, however you want to call it. That one's underway, and there are reports being shared of clears from anywhere between 4 bill to 8 bill, and that's from people that are low medium coiners, and they're quite puzzled about this because it's never happened to them before. Because of the level of keeps that they go up against on a normal basis as opposed to during chalons and things. So we figured we'd do a series of videos from the perspective of a low or medium coiner, going through what you can do to avoid things like that from happening to you. Yes, the obvious answer is T1 walls, but there is also an aspect to optimizing your build and optimizing your coin and trying to get the most out of it. So I will try and kind of go through the challenges I personally face being in the low medium coiner bracket and competing with top teams in Evony day in day out, and what I do to kind of face these challenges. So I have a K40 8.2 bill account. It is VIP 16, close to VIP 17, and so I took this account over from a relatively free to play player. It was already VIP 15 at the time, but bear in mind the server is 3 years old, more than 3 years old. So a few of the VIP points have come from that as well over time. And I say relatively free to play because I believe the coining, if any, had been done mostly pre Civ Gear era. There was the Abbas bracers, the on it, but other than that, it had like a couple of low end Civ gear. Basically, from the Taiki's wheel, there were quite a bit of fragments left as well, as you can see here. So yeah, it was a relatively free to play account, and then I've taken the account over 5 months ago, and yeah, I've been building it since then. So a little bit of info about my coining budget on the game. So I am, for the most part, a Cake 4 coiner. So basically, you can see here on the King's Party event, you see Cake level 4. That's where you get the low-level Civ gear piece. And that's kind of what I do for the most part. I try and stick with my budget, but sometimes I do get carried away. It is part of it. It is what it is. But yeah, I try and stick to cake level 4, which is basically like 200 American dollars per event. And I use Aptoid to do my coining. So when I use Aptoid, I just, wait for the Aptoid promotion days. So these are days in which you get an extra 5% payback cashback for the amount of money that you spend. So between that and the percentages and the promo codes, you could get anywhere between, let's say, 20 to 30% discount for the packs that you buy. So I wait for promo code days and then I buy pink gems. So you can see that's the pink gems. So basically you can purchase them from going in here and then you choose which one you want to buy and you buy the pink gems. So pink gems are basically an in-game currency. So you can stock up on pink gems during these discount days and then spend those pink gems to buy packs, when it's the event time and when you want to spend them. So that's basically what I do, and I think most of the players, definitely almost all the big players in the game, that's how they do their coining. It's just more sensible to do it that way. It really doesn't say reduce the amount of money that you spend, maybe. At least for me, it doesn't. But I do get more bang for my buck because I can buy an additional pack or two for the same amount of money that I spend. So I would recommend doing that. If you've got an iPhone, it might be a bit of a hassle because you can't install Aptoid on your iPhone. But there are still ways to do it. You can use an Android device to kind of get the pink gems. by installing Aptoid on it, or you can do it via your PC. So there are ways to do it. It's a bit of a hassle, but it's definitely worth doing that. So, and the first thing that I would say is, as a low medium coiner, patience is very key. You can't always get what you want, and you kind of need to plan your coining so that you get the most out of it. Just as an example, for instance, there was a bunker officer released last event. He was on cake level 10, which is basically 2 grand retail. So he was a pretty good general. You can see from here. So he gave quite a bit of buffs. So just the base, you get like mounted and ground HP and defense 15%, in city siege and ranged attack 35%, and then his last two specialties, basically you get like 40% in city HP, which is quite high, and in city troop attack and defense as well, along with those. So he was a really good general. I would have loved to have him, but it was on the final cake level and I didn't feel like spending 2 grand. So I just decided I wouldn't do it, and I'll wait for him to come on one of the different packs so I can get maybe a copy of him if I luck out. But it is kind of, you need to stick with your budget. There will always be things that kind of look really good that you'd be able to get if you spend a bit more money. But it's just making that choice as a low coiner that it's beyond my budget, but I'd rather wait and get him later. Or if it's something like, for instance, when Josephine was released, she was on cake level 5, which was $350. So, and she has crazy buffs, really good buffs. So I decided I was gonna get her on that event itself. Also because when she was released, you had an option where when you send her these gifts, you would get 1.2 times the XP that you would normally get. So it was definitely worth doing it at the time, and I had quite a bit of ruby necklaces saved up and love boxes saved up. So I just dumped them all to get her up to level 14, make taking advantage of the 1.2 times XP. So that's kind of, you can see she's level 14 as opposed to my other champions who are quite a bit lower, but it was just because it was worth doing it at the time. And that's basically a very important thing as a low coiner. The best thing you can do is you just hoard stuff, whatever you can, just keep hoarding them, and then use them when you get the most out of them. I'll be honest, Evony doesn't make that easy. We don't get any warnings about things that are going to be released. They just get released out of the blue. But it is their way of doing things, and nothing much we can do about it. So yeah, what I try and do is I try and save as much stuff as I can and then wait for events to upgrade things. Like for example, even with the Ford certificates, you can see I've got Ford certificates enough to make one full set of Achaemenid gear into Parthian for my subgens for the debuff. But I haven't done that because I was basically just waiting for the event to come around so I can do that. So now the crafting event is here. You can find it here. And so yeah, I will be upgrading those gear to get some scores and redeem some stuff. Things like treasure boxes, tactic scrolls, they are very hard to get if you're not coining. And even as low coiner, they're pretty hard to get. But they are things that we need to improve our level and our buffs. So I just try and redeem as much of those as I can. And just wait for events to basically do every little thing. Feeding dragons, crafting gear, ascending generals. I just wait so I can use all the stuff that I've saved up to try and get some rewards out of it. Like for using Blood of Heirs, you get a lot of Blood of Heirs in return. You can redeem them. So I just wait for Trial of Knights event to do it. Pretty sure most of you already do that. But just a reminder, using your resources, your speed ups, just wait for events. I know it's delaying instant gratification. That's not always easy. But as a low coiner, if you just start using stuff whenever you want to, you wouldn't get much returns from it and you'd run out of stuff soon. And yeah, That'll just push you to do more coining, which you don't want to do, and you'll get fed up with the game. So yeah, just be patient. Patience is very important, and just try and do as much as you can when you can get most out of it. So on a similar note, the same thing for general tokens. As of late, they've been releasing all these new generals, and you get a higher probability of getting the general. So you can see here the Archer general that was released today. You have a higher chance of getting that general by opening the token when they're released, when that event is on. So just save the tokens and just try and get as many copies as you can while the general is released. Like what I did with Napoleon Prime, that was the same thing. So I just waited till he was released, and I had enough general tokens that I managed to get all 16 copies that I need to fully ascend him. And with the Trial of Knights event, this time I will be ascending him. So that is kind of, things that you can hoard and yeah, use them when you get most out of it. This gem purchase event, so it's basically $15 a day to get these rewards for 5 days, and you get 3 general tokens out of it. So that's a pretty good deal, and among other stuff as well, obviously. So that's something that I always do. When this is around, I spend $15 a day, and then yeah, just within my budget, and I can get some more general tokens that I can save. So those are things that you can do. So going into my build, so obviously, yes, a T1 based build. So you can see here I've got the choreo bracers with mounted attack flats. That siege machine percentage flat was because it's a near perfect roll, and I just really didn't feel like wasting gems to re-roll it. So I just locked it and moved on to get the other 3 mounted attack flats. You can see this one is all mounted attack flats, mounted HP flats on this one. So you can see there's a couple of siege HP here, but that's mainly because I know I'm gonna replace this one with a choreo helmet soon. So I just didn't feel like wasting refined stones and gold and gems to get the last 2 mounted attack flats. Siege HP was okay. Sorry, mounted HP flats. Siege HP was okay. So, and they were good rolls, so I just kind of kept them. This one you can see I'm not planning on getting the choreo pants anytime soon. So I've rolled them all for mounted HP flats. I might look at putting some other piece of low level civ gear on this general, but I haven't decided yet. I'll need to look into it. Maybe Sassanian pants. I'm not sure. I just need to kind of dig into it a little bit further. But for now, I'm focusing on getting the choreo helmet, which I will after this event. So that's kind of my immediate focus. My dragon, obviously refined for mounted HP flats. So you can tell basically I have a a low level mounted based build. And then my assistant wall gen at the moment is Lee Mosa. So he gives quite a bit of mounted HP percentage. So that just, helps even my low tier cabs. Maybe not as much as the flats, but every little bit counts. So I'm using him at the moment. But I do eventually plan on switching out for a siege based gen once I put on some power and I have the buffs to back up my siege. So I will move to, I don't know, Leo the Third or somebody that's more siege oriented. So that's kind of my plan for the future. Yeah, so as a low coiner and facing people that have 3,500 or more buffs, I've kind of had to go with the T1 based build because this helps me survive the solo hits. I obviously still need to play port away, port away from rallies. But yeah, at least I can take a few solos and still be alive. So that's basically why I've gone with this, T1 mounted focused build. And I've gone with mounted mainly because I think mounted has kind of the base stat for mounted is HP and attack, whereas a ground based build will be more for absorbing damage because that's more HP, not so much attack. So with the mounted build, I can refine for mounted attack flats as well. So my low tier mounted troops not only absorb damage but also dish some damage out to the enemy. So I am on the big rally team, and I enjoy that quite a bit. So I try to join rallies, scout for targets, call out damage from reports, rains, and pretty much everything that I can to help the setter in whatever ways I can. So my build and this troop comp that you see here is based off of joining rallies. So you can see, yeah, 2 mil to 3 mil archers, 2 mil to 3 mil ground. T14 calves are a little bit heavy, but that was already on the account. I probably wouldn't have had as many right now, but I don't want to dismiss troops because I'm going to eventually need them anyway. And you can see here it's starting to bulk out on the T13 siege for big siege rallies, and then T12 archers for the arch rallies, and then the other big chunk is on the T11 siege for siege rallies. So siege and arch are basically what we use most of, and those are the rallies that kind of help us to knock down these big keeps that we go up against so that we can clear them out with cav or ground. So when we usually set cav or ground, it's mostly rallies that clear the keeps. So I don't need as much cav or ground because most of the troops that we send, they're coming back alive. So I don't need as much of them. So that's why my current build is focused on having more archers and siege, so I can join more rallies without having to heal. Obviously, I still need to heal because the opponents that we go up against are anywhere between, I don't know, 400, 500 build alliances for the most part. So I still need to heal, but I'm just, increasing troops while also doing my buildings and things. It is a slow process. I'll definitely get there someday where I probably not have to heal as much. But yeah, I mean, when I took over the keep, it was like 5 bill. I've put on 3 bill more power. So already the amount of healing that I'm doing has reduced substantially. So yeah, just, keep chipping away at it a little bit at a time. And then as we go down, yeah, basically 2, 3, 4 mil layers until we get to T7 mounted. So from T7 mounted, you can see 15 mil. I've got 15 mil T6, 15 T5, and 15 mil T4s. And then bulking out a little bit more towards the bottom end, 30 mil T3s, 70 mil T2s, and 600 mil T1s. So you can see almost 70% of my total troop count of 1 bill is made up of lower end calves. And these are what, along with the flats and debuffs, these are what helped me survive those massive solo hits. Of course, there are still limitations. There will always be limitations due to the coining gap. That's the nature of the game we play. But at least this way, I can still survive hits and, keep joining rallies and get a bit more fun out of it before I get zeroed. So talking about limitations, so let's look at a few reports. So one of the big disadvantages of having this T1 or flat based build is that you're not really buffing up your top tier troops, so they are more susceptible to damage, especially when you get hit by someone that has 3000 plus buffs. So you can see here, this was a hit from Glorfindel in GOT, last SVS. You can see here it was a siege hit, and I lost 1.3 bill power. So buffs wise, this is where I'm at with buffs and debuffs. So you can see Glor's siege attack was 3100% almost. HP was 2510. I almost fully debuffed the attack, and I only debuffed 310% of the HP. So that's why my siege just got, eaten through. So he's fully debuffing my siege HP. So I'm fighting with 727% siege HP, whereas he's hitting me with 2200% siege HP. So that basically means all my siege are just gonna die. So you can see he got through my 14s, my 13s, 12s, and almost all the way through my 11s. And in the meantime, my lower tier calves started getting closer to his siege. And you can see here, they've started doing some damage. So between the T7s and the T2s, they killed off his, majority of his troops. And yeah, basically that's where it stopped, or he'd have gone even further. His march, you can see, was gonna be basically T13 heavy. Um, yep, T13, 5 mil T13, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So pretty good hit for him, not so good for me, but there isn't much you can do about it. I mean, at least I survived, and I can still. I might not have been, if this was a battlefield scenario, I probably wouldn't have been able to join siege rallies anymore without having to heal, but it still means all my archers and my, you know, because siege killed siege and then they go after the archers, but because they got stopped before they got through all my siege, my archers weren't hit, so I'm still good to join archer rallies, cav rallies, and ground rallies, and maybe send a bunch of low tier siege to the siege rallies just for, you know, the numbers. So yeah, this is kind of what a report would look like when you get hit by a big player, rather than that being a 4 bill clear. Um, so that was one. But the flip side is, once you have this base, right? Once you have a good strong base with which you can kind of take these solos, what you can do is you can get reigns from your alliance. So this was from the SVs before that when we faced RSP. You can see I've got some reigns here, and Karamur hit me with a siege march. My troop count was lower, my buffs were lower, and his buffs were higher than Glor's. But still, with the reigns, we managed to come off as a net positive off of that hit. So obviously, I had Viper reigning me, and his buffs are crazy, obviously, and you know that kind of helps when you have that one strong player on your team. That can reinforce you. You could go positive even from the solo hits if you have this strong base build that helps you survive. So yeah, just basically get that base going and then keep building onto it. You know, keep working away at the buffs and debuffs, and that's kind of where I'm at. That's my plan, and yeah, reigns just make such a big impact in the game right now. It's ridiculous how good reigns are, and how relatively unscathed you can come off of hits by just having reigns from someone really strong. Yeah. So that's kind of a very brief overview of my build, how I'm going about things, what my thought process is, what I'm trying to do to be competitive within my budget and level of spending. I will do a few more videos going into detailed aspects of my build, buffs, etc., depending on the interest and feedback from you guys. So let us know if you like to see more content like this, and if you have any particular questions, please drop them in the comments section or on our Discord page. The link for our Discord will be in the description of the video. Subscribe to our channel because we have plans on releasing a lot more interesting content to try and help the community as a whole, to get us all to play as better, and you know, get more fun for the amount of the amount of money and time that we invest in this game. So yeah, stay tuned for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next video.